everybody? Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze, all of the oppressions, every single system that you could think of that's sitting on your head right about now, just hanging on your back like a gremlin. Is it white supremacy? Likely so. Is it patriarchy? That indeed. Is it homophobia? A possibility. Well, we're going to yank them little gremlins off of our backs and cast them into the fire because, you got to kill shit with fire these days, everybody. But anywho, I'm so glad and appreciative that you all made some time to come hang out with me. Thank you so much. Big up to 40J Blaze. I see you just became a member of the channel. We appreciate that, sir. And as a result, 40J Blaze is going to get the inside track to tonight's AMA, the March Ask Me Anything. We do this once a month, the last Friday of every month, exclusively for our YouTube channel members and for our patrons as well. So, if you want the chance to shoot shit and ask rando questions, I'm with it. And we'd appreciate it. The more the merrier. So either sign up to become a YouTube member, as 40J Blaze just did. Thank you so much, bruv. Or sign up at patreon.com/BIDWKB. Welcome, everybody. What's going on, Infinite Content? We got a Philly story in here today, courtesy of Frowny French. Frowny French was on top of shit today. She's on top of shit every day. Thank you so much, Frowny French. I see my son is in here, Tyler. Hey, Midwesterners, y'all be safe. And our people down south, be safe. This extreme weather is wreaking havoc. I'm definitely sending our deepest condolences and our heartfelt prayers and positive vibrations to the people in Mississippi, where over 24 people lost their lives as a result of some very strong and deadly tornadoes. Unfortunately, guys, I mean, this is the new normal. So, maybe we should do an episode about prepping. You know what I'm saying? Big up to Abby. Abby is ahead of the curve on the prep situation because ain't nobody coming to help, right? We're all aware of that. So we need to do what we can to be able to be as self-sufficient and as community engaged with one another, and so we can help each other address our needs when these extreme climate and weather situations inevitably come knocking on our doors. So yeah. So anyway, who else is in here? Shout out to we got some new youngins in here. What's going on, Ricky Jones? Love to see. Oh, Lucretia. Hi, Lucretia. We haven't seen you in a while, Lucretia. We miss you on the remix. Come on back, girl. We miss you. Come hang out with us next week. Ooh, Valley Girls. Hey, Valley Girls. What's going on, baby? I'm glad to see you. Holly Horn, thank you so much. Holly, you signed, did you? Oh, you started following us on Instagram. Thanks for that. I said, what? Holly just did something in support of the channel. She followed us at BIDWKB on Instagram. Thank you so much for that, Holly. We're at BIDWKB Facebook. I always forget where the fuck we are. Twitch, at Burn It Down KB on Twitter. Different places. So thank you all so much. Renee! Thank you so much, Renee. I'm so glad you all are joining me tonight. And guys, I would be remiss if I didn't say something about the Trump situation. Now, the Trump situation is a funny situation. Every time it appears on the news, I swear to God, I just bust out laughing because the whole it's ridiculousness all the way around. And it would be a fucking buffoon ass motherfucker like Donald Trump, whom for the one thing he does get indicted on is actually some shit I support. I said, leave it to the American injustice system to actually hem Trump up. Not on the most egregious human rights violations that he did, not on the self-dealing and self-enrichment while he was president that he managed to pull off to himself, his family, and his corporation. No, Trump actually supporting a sex worker is what got him indicted, which is so ironic. And I'm like, that's the most noble thing that he's done, right? That's the most fucking principled shit that he's ever done. And big up to Stormy Daniels, under the assumption that she is not a clan princess, operating under the assumption that she is not a clan princess. Big up to Stormy Daniels. because girl, she earned that 130,000. I thought about that earlier today too. I said, ew. I said, ah. Can you imagine Trump naked? Oh. Do you guys think that that spray tan is all over his body, or just stops at his neck? I'm assuming the spray tan stops at his neck and the rest of his body is disgustingly pasty. Ugh! Ugh. Whew. $130,000 well earned there, Stormy Daniels, because girl, ain't that much money in the world. Ugh. I'm sorry. Let me get off that. I'm sorry. And I apologize for putting that visual into y'all's heads. Like, ugh, ugh, ugh. Can you imagine who would ever sleep with Trump for free? For free? Melania don't even sleep with that nigga for free. Come on. Be serious. Ugh. So anyway, I'm sorry. Let me get back to the more serious matters at hand. Okay, so Trump indicted. The whole indictment is under seal. We don't know exactly what charges that the district attorney, that Brown brother, and it would be some black prosecutor being used in this way. How can I start off this? Like, so I have a lot of different opinions and varying takes on this entire situation. First of all, it's amazing to me that Trump is the first president to ever be indicted. To me, all of these fucking presidents are criminals, war criminals, human rights criminals, uh, crimes against humanity, all the criminals, right? Like, for Trump to be the first president to be indicted, shocking. Like that's the most shocking part of this to me. Not that he was the first. And I'm like, no, it's more so there's only been one president indicted. How is that? They're all terrible people and guilty of different crimes. Hey, what's going on? Come through, Jason. We appreciate you becoming a member. Thank you so much for your membership. And someone else just, oh, it's Infinite. Hold on, Infinite. I'm gonna get to that. What's the AP? He said the breaking news: the U.S. government, is suing Norfolk Southern for every in the East Palestine derailment. Oh, okay. Well, that's good for their effery. For their effery. They could just say fuckery. Come on. This is a no edit zone, man. I need y'all to say the thing straight because I don't recognize effery. I'm like, what is that? Oh, it's an edit. What edits? We don't do edits here, infinite content. But thank you so much for the update. We'll see how that goes, right? Because the Biden administration is not on top of things, but I'm sure the Biden administration is overjoicing with this Trump news because situations like what's happening in this East Palestine, the situation in Jackson, a lot of different situations. Now, Trump being back in the center of the news cycle takes a lot of heat off the Biden administration, and back and just shrug his shoulders and be like, I have no comment, whatevs. But getting back to the situation with Trump again, him being the first, I'm shocked. I'm shocked there haven't been previous presidents charged with a variety of different crimes. But what they eventually got him on is basically paperwork. And that's exactly how gangsters go down, is it not? By and large, they go down for racketeering, they go down for tax evasion, they go down for issues with the paperwork. And to me, and I would imagine to a lot of Trump's base, that doesn't really count as going down. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so this nigga might have lied on some campaign finance shit. It's a little ambiguous as to whose money actually paid off Stormy Daniels. And again, allegedly, this indictment is multiple counts, 30 counts, likely a lot of business dealings, bookkeeping dealings, as been reported. So I'm like, this is not exactly high crimes and misdemeanors that you guys, or the New York District Attorney, the Manhattan DA, whatever they're trying to get Trump on. This shit is pity pat, very much like they're doing with Marilyn Mosby, some pity pat shit. But when the federal government decides that they're going to come for you, they just going to come for you, okay? And Trump is by no means a victim here. Okay, he is by no means a victim, but the right-wing media and what remains of Trump's base, which appears to be stronger than many have maybe suspected as of late, because anyway, prepping for the 2024 race, speculation about the strength of Ron DeSantis has people wondering whether or not Trump's got the goods. Well, if anything, this sort of indictment and attention being paid on Donald Trump is exactly what he wants. This is exactly like Trump probably could not script this better himself, because now he gets to play the persecuted multimillionaire. He gets to play the persecuted multimillionaire. And the hilarious shit has been the response. I have to play some of these clips for y'all, because moneyed white men feel personally attacked by this Trump indictment, which to me is hilarious. All of a sudden, the criminal justice system is out of control. All of a sudden, we live in a police state, per these wealthy white male conservatives, right? It is only now when one of their own, one of their class buddies gets misdemeanors, charged with misdemeanors, basically, then all of a sudden the criminal justice system is Stalin-esque, and it's communism, and it's a persecution along political lines. Miss me with all that shit. Y'all know what time it is. Us as black people understand full and well, and not just black and brown, understand full and well that we have enough political prisoners, enough folks that have been targeted by the state who are doing multiple decades in jail, some of whom spent a lifetime in jail, some of whom may never come home. Donald Trump is not these people. He is not persecuted. Donald Trump is walking around his golf course right now, free as a fucking bird. And even when he does turn himself in, Trump ain't staying in fucking jail. That's not how this works. But anyway, I want us to hear some of the breathless outrage, because I have to say the shit is rather hilarious. Like it's pretty funny. And what pisses me off, and the only thing about this that really pisses me off, is that all of these fucking douche canoes get exactly what they want. The conservatives get what they want. They get Trump as a martyr. Trump gets what he wants, as this victimized person who is targeted as some sort of political vendetta. And on the other hand, the liberals get what they want, because they seem to think that this is some sort of victory. This is some sort of evidence that the criminal justice system works. Ain't nobody above the law. Everybody can get caught with black. No, let me show you. That's not how this works at all, liberals. And y'all know this. All them MSNBC motherfuckers is so giddy. I'm like, y'all need to calm down. I have seen this movie before. And truth be told, we all have seen this movie before. Going back 30, 40 years with Donald Trump. This ain't Trump's first dance with being charged with criminal whatever, or being charged with fraud, or being charged with misleading consumers, or abandoning his casinos in Atlanta. Like, Trump has done this dance. He's been impeached not once but twice. This nigga ain't tripping. Trump is not tripping off this shit. Watch what I tell you. But anyway, so I'm trying to figure out who we should hear from first, because Lindsey Graham has an awesome clip floating around. Which one? Okay, well, let's just go with the first one, because I actually think that this is Trump's attorney, and I haven't bothered to familiarize myself with his name. The random white man number 12. Let's just call him that. Who is all of a sudden very outraged at the overreach of law enforcement and the criminal justice system, and the overreach of prosecutors. Now, interestingly enough, were this a white prosecutor, likely they'd be as mad, but I think they are madder because it's a black person, of course. But I don't support prosecutors, period. So it wouldn't make a difference to me whether or not the prosecutor was black or white. But anyway, let's take a listen to Trump's lawyer, who I believe was on Fox News, possibly, I don't know, with one of them douches, Hannity, Tucker Carlson. They all the same, Bama. So anyway, let's check out this clip.
The rule of law in the United States of America died.
It's dead.
It's dead. And it's something that I never thought I'd see. I have goosebumps even saying it because I don't feel good about saying it. You know, when you stretch the law to get someone you don't like, or as a political opponent in this case, it's very hard to ever get that law to come back to its original shape.
You saw the ad of Alvin Bragg when he was running. What does that tell you about equal justice and application of our laws in this country?
Yeah, that was his first priority. I mean, he didn't have any information, any evidence. But, you know, again, that was Nazi Germany. That was Soviet Union. That was Communist China, where you pick the target, the person you don't like, the political opponent, and then you find the crime. It's not that way it never was that way in the United States of America. It's not supposed to be that way. And when we start doing that, we're no better than those other horrific, you know, dictatorships and governments that abused rule of law. Mm-hmm. America always had the justice system to protect our citizens. Whether they were popular citizens or unpopular citizens, they always had the justice system. Now, today's proof that you could actually pick a target and then try and find a crime, even a crime that's not a crime, because there is no crime here. So I'm telling you, there is no crime. I know the facts, I know the law, and I really want to see where this is going to go.
Baby, the white male elites are shook. They are shook if it's Nazi Germany. They've actually charged a multimillionaire with some misdemeanors, some paperwork misdemeanors. It's communism. America has always had a justice system that would adhere to the will of the citizens. Has it really? Has it really? Now, listen, I don't expect anything different from what oh boy just gave us some ahistorical nonsense. Basically, he could have, and I wish he would have inserted white men in sparse, spattered, sprinkled throughout his little diatribe right there. White men have always had the expectation of the justice system working for them. White men have had the expectation of the rule of law, blah, 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 blah. And it's not surprising to me that, you know, they don't even see us included in this, you know, very interesting and wayward critique of the criminal justice system. Of course, they only see themselves, and that's generally how that tends to go. But it's pretty funny. Hold on. I got a couple more. Now I want you to cue up Lindsey Graham if you could for me there, Will. Yeah, get the Lindsey Graham clip ready. Because Lindsey Graham, Lady Lindsey got so pissed off at the indictment, she cussed on TV. she cussed on Fox News to let you know how fucking fed up she was with the situation. I apologize. I should not misgender Lindsey Graham. That's rude of me to do that. But Lindsey, Lindsey had her panties in a bunch. Lindsey, everybody know what's going on with Lindsey Graham. But anyway, so listen to Lindsey Graham actually have the audacity. Let me talk about audacity. While we're talking about white privilege, can we talk about the white audacity of it all? Lindsey Graham is about to get on Fox News. Fox News, we know. I mean, not all the viewers of Fox News are economically downtrodden, but not a significant portion of their audience is likely economically downtrodden. So listen and watch Lindsey Graham with a straight fucking face to ask on behalf of a multimillionaire to please send some donations to this poor man walking around his own golf course being persecuted by the state. Let's take a listen.
The ballot box. To the conservatives out there, make sure you vote. If you got friends, make sure they vote. If you don't have any friends, go make some friends. But you need to help this man, Donald J. Trump. They're trying to drain him dry. He spent more money on lawyers than most people spend on campaigns. They're trying to bleed him dry. DonaldJTrump.com. Go tonight. Give the president some money to fight this bullshit. This is going to destroy America. We're going to fight back at the ballot box. We're not going to give in. How does this end, Sean? Trump wins in court, and he wins the election. That's how this ends.
Yeah. And I actually think that Lindsay's prediction may not be a wrong one here. This indictment is just going to embolden the Donald Trump base. And I think, a lot of the conservative voters, particularly the white ones, are going to look at this as a bit of political overreach on behalf of the prosecutors. Now, my personal opinion is, to the DA, it's like, nigga, you ain't got better shit to do. You like, this is the best use of your resources. Like, there's not actual real murderers, abusers, people assaulting people in New York City. Like, I understand Trump is a piece of shit. I get that, and I understand that Trump has flouted his ability to circumvent all varying kinds of laws for a very long time. But at some point, these Democrats need to, and the liberals, and I guess by extension the prosecutors, need to accept that they call him Teflon Don for a reason. And there's no point to keep going after this man. And I apologize. This is not meant to sound in any way like a defense of Donald Trump. Let me be very clear. Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay. Donald Trump is a racist, misogynistic, homophobic, human rights violator, war criminal, all of it. He is all of the bad, bad things. But indicting him while the presidential election cycle is getting ready to gear up was not an intelligent move if the goal and the purpose is to keep him out of the White House. Because even if he gets convicted, which I'm not convinced that he will be convicted of anything, all them January 6 types will be back in the streets, and they will decide to bring the motherfucking ruckus. And I don't think, again, that the American law enforcement system is ready for that. It was funny when the indictment was announced, they were saying on the local news, Metropolitan Police and our federal partners haven't given any indication that there is some planned violence or First Amendment demonstrations planned. And I'm like, well, that's not reassuring because y'all motherfuckers didn't see January 6th coming, and them niggas talked about it on the internet for weeks, for weeks in advance. And there they were, the U.S. Capitol Police right there getting their ass beat. Oh, we didn't know they was coming. How the fuck didn't y'all know? Anyway. But circling back here for a second, again, all of this is a grand distraction of what? I'm not exactly sure. But the fact that Trump is hemmed up, so to speak, on paperwork and for allegedly giving hush money to a sex worker is amazing, considering his other crimes, obviously enriching himself, self-dealing, bombing and murdering the Iraqi general. What else did Trump do? Trump did, but obviously put the kids in cages, had an inhumane policy towards migrants on the southern border. I mean, we can go down the list. I mean, Trump could take some responsibility for what happened in East Palestine, rescinding the railroad safety rule that likely could have prevented that derailment and that subsequent ecological disaster, man-made disaster. I mean, Trump is a bad dude, no doubt. But it's lots of precedent for these American presidents, right? And I'm sorry, Johnson, Johnson and Nixon, they didn't get them for starting Vietnam, for faking the Gulf of Tonkin and all that, going on to Reagan and Iran Contra. I'm saying, like, I'm shocked. I mean, obviously, y'all, I'm being facetious here. I'm clearly not shocked because, the rulers of the empire, the emperors, don't go down for their war crimes. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend as though Donald Trump, being the first president to actually be criminally indicted for something, is the worst act ever committed by a president. It may be historical, and that's cool, but historically, these U.S. presidents have done far, far worse. And it's important for us to remember these deeds, to remind others of these bad things, especially for the presidents that are still drawing the air, like the presidents that still remain alive. I will never lionize or really allow people to lionize Obama in my presence, because it's like, man, let's examine Libya before Obama and NATO deposed Gaddafi, and let's examine Libya now. Let's examine the role that Obama played in arming the Saudis to bomb the shit out of Yemen. Let's see the way that Obama supported the Israeli government in supporting the apartheid state against Palestinians. I mean, and the shit that he did. I mean, we could go down the list. We could go down the list. Bush, Iraq, Afghanistan, other shit, likely. Clinton, three strikes, the crime bill, did some shit in Africa. I mean, the list is long about the criminality associated with the White House and the criminality associated with the entire governing apparatus of this nation. And I'm not gonna sit here and let these white men act as though as though poor little rich kid Donald Trump is somehow this great persecuted person. Not even close. Do I think the prosecution is a waste of time? Absolutely. But anyway, fuck Trump. Let's hear. Well, let me hear the last one. I want to hear from Ted Cruz, and you can almost hear the little violins playing in the background as Ted Cruz laments the collapse of the American judicial system as a result of Trump being indicted. Let's take a listen to that, please.
Today it is the culmination we have seen for 6 long years. The Democrats weaponizing our law enforcement system, weaponizing the Department of Justice, weaponizing the FBI, weaponizing the CIA, weaponizing our district attorney offices, and using them to target and persecute their enemies. When that happens, all of us are less safe. When that happens, liberty is in jeopardy, not just for Donald J. Trump, for all of us. Look, there are banana republics, there are dictatorships across the world where law is used. If you cross the regime, you get prosecuted. The United States is supposed to be different. I am angry and I'm heartbroken at the same time because what we're seeing is absolute garbage.
Shout out to all the Black Panther veterans, the Black Liberation Army veterans, the American Indian Movement veterans, the Young Lords. Like, seriously, man, when people are targeted for political reasons, when you anger the regime, all of us are less safe. It's a very privileged and exclusive bubble that a lot of these people are living in. Not a shock to any of us. We all know this, right? We know that there are, some people say 2 Americas. There are actually probably multiple Americas. There's probably 10 Americas if we keeping it a buck. But people who ascribe to the conservative political ideology, they don't see the persecution of Black people and brown people by the state because that is the natural order of things. Of course, that's the way the state is supposed to operate. They're not horrified when the killers of Tamir Rice and Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, like these things don't bother them. They don't affect them. They don't even register with them because non-white equals criminality, and that's who the criminal justice system is supposed to target. That's who they're supposed to go after. Donald Trump is never, and his ilk. People like Donald Trump are never supposed to be targeted, unless, of course, it's George Soros, is it right? That they have been going OD with the anti-Semitic and the anti-black tropes pertaining to the DA and his campaign funded, Soros funded. I'm like, Jesus. I mean, the racism as the default is always just right there. Like they never have to reach far. The racism is usually sitting right on their lap. It's just right there. Come on, racism, it's your turn to talk, okay? And they just get right into it. So obviously, if you watch this channel, you are not going to be fooled by the media spectacle surrounding this. And get ready, buckle up for the media spectacle to be incessant, to be nauseating, and to be lengthy. And this, again, I can't overstate how much, to me, this plays right into Trump's hands. Like, if you wanted to almost deliver him back into the White House for a second term, you do something like this. This, according to Fox News, his poll numbers are up. And there was another clip of Greg Gutfield's goofy ass. I should have pulled that shit, but I didn't pull it. But anyway, he was like, "Oh shit, Trump's an OG now. He's gonna have a mugshot. Go, Trump's a gangster. That's giving him street cred. He's gotten hemmed up by the man. Trump's gonna have some heat for himself out here in these streets." It's like, I need y'all to simmer down. but in a sense, he's not wrong. Like, he's probably going to start playing Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash and all kinds of shit at the rallies, some outlaw themed music, right? He's being targeted by the man out here. I can't stand America. I swear to God. I swear to God. I cannot stand this country. I promise you, I can't stand it. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for being here. Let's take a little break. A wee petite pause for the cause. I want to thank you all so much for coming in here. Please do me a favor, like the video, give the video a thumbs up if you don't mind. That would be much appreciated. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, take a time to do so, please. And thank you. And did I want to give some shout outs? Shout out to Anna Hart and Mama Lorraine for the additional support sesh that happened this past Sunday. Thanks to anyone and everybody that decided to come through and participate in that. We do the generalized disability support chats. Going forward, it's going to be every second Saturday, I believe, Anna. So if you want to find out the details for April's disability support sesh, reach out to Anna Hart. She will help you along with that. That is available upon request, but it default is available as a perk to our members and to our patrons. And well, do you have the what's it? The abortion fund. This is the last week in March that we will be supporting the Mississippi Reproductive Freedom Fund. Ever since the Dobbs decision we're almost coming up on a year since Dobbs, everybody. Wow. Ooh, I can't wait to read the pieces when that anniversary comes, because I look forward to some investigative journalism to likely get some data about how women in these abortion restrictive states have fared health wise since the Dobbs decision came out last spring. And we know Mississippi is very extra with their abortion restrictions. In fact, the Dobbs decision originated from Mississippi. So we are supporting the Mississippi Reproductive Freedom Fund. The channel supports these abortion funds monthly to the tune of $50. We ask that you try to match us if you can, $5. If you want to run the channel some bucks but want to designate it towards the abortion fund, just designate in your note abortion fund, please and thank you, so I can know where to direct the thing. So there's that. So thank you so much to everybody that has already contributed in the past, because again, we've been supporting these abortion funds. I think it's going to be a year in June, everybody. And women and pregnant people in these states, they definitely need our help. So there's that. Okay, y'all. I just realized, have I eaten today? Why do I feel hungry? Like distracting hungry. Like I just got distracted. Like, my stomach is about to go growly. I need to do something about that. But anyway, so I want to get to the next story, and let me give everybody a trigger warning for this story. Well, a couple of heads up. Everybody survives, so let's start there. But this is a trigger warning for, I'm going to call this agents of the state violence. The person who is alleged to have perpetrated what we're about to see. Well, not about to see. We're not showing actual footage of the incident, but we're going to look at a package about it. The person who was alleged to have perpetrated this, it was not themselves, not law enforcement, but semi-deputized by law enforcement, which is fucking weird. Also, trigger warning, like I said, for agents of the state, violence against women, and violence specifically against Black women, and violence specifically against poor people, because this involves an eviction. And Franny French sent me this story, and I looked at it and I said, cops ain't shit. And cop adjacents ain't shit. And people who act on behalf of the state, especially to attack poor people, especially ain't shit. So the story comes out of Philadelphia. Infinite Content, this your neck of the woods. This actually is happening out in North Philly, out Girard. And we're going to pick it up from there. So a Black couple gets a knock on their door from a person associated with the landlord and tenants court, a writ officer, I believe they're called. And apparently the writ officer was attempting to serve eviction papers. Now, I'm a little unclear about the process here, because per the story, it does not indicate that the couple was set to be evicted that day. It just sounded as though they were just being served notice that an eviction was pending. But what ends up happening is some sort of altercation where the Black woman ended up shot by this writ officer, who is in fact not law enforcement at all. This is very confusing. Infinite Content, you may have some insight upon this, but I wanted to check out this package from NBC Philadelphia. And again, I gave all the trigger warnings, but the good news is that the sister survived. So let me preface all of that by saying that she is alive, she is with us, she is hospitalized. But let's check out the story to get more of the details there.
Body camera video will certainly be part of the evidence. Now, in terms of the woman who was shot, she's in the hospital, she's critical, but we do hear that she is alert, she is talking. The husband, we spoke to him after he spent a long day talking to police. He's headed to the hospital now.
I seen when he rolled up and he jumped like this, bow, and shot her, just like that, boom.
Gabriel Plummer says his wife, 35-year-old Angel Davis, is in the hospital with a gunshot wound to the head. It happened here at the Girard Court Apartments, where Philadelphia police say a writ server, an employee of the landlord-tenant office, a private entity that carries out court orders, shot Davis while serving eviction paperwork.
He made contact with the residents inside, and at some point during that contact, a physical struggle ensued, at which time the writ server discharged his firearm, striking the female resident in her head one time.
He was trying to push the door open. We pushing it closed, because you're not coming in here. We don't know what's going on.
Allegedly, there was a knife involved. That's why he discharged his firearm, so we have to figure that out.
Gabriel Plummer claims that's not true and insists that crime scene evidence would show that he was trying to give back some personal items the worker dropped in the apartment during the encounter.
He dropped his badge, a watch, and some metal thing. I don't know what it was. I just picked it up. I'm giving to your property. I'm coming out. Can we talk? What's going on? Let me know what's going on. He had his drawing it like this. Drawing, get back, get back, get back, get back. He kept saying that.
That's when Plummer insists the worker fired his gun. Is that typical that a writ server, as you describe them, would be armed in these kinds of situations, serving an eviction notice?
So I can't speak as to what their policies and protocols are.
But the lieutenant says in Pennsylvania, the employee involved is legally allowed to carry a gun in his role enforcing the law with the proper certification. While investigators try to sort out exactly what led to the gunfire, Plummer is thinking of his wife.
So far, I heard she's doing okay.
And I spoke to the lieutenant involved in this case just a moment ago, and he said, yes, his police officers at the hospital, they are monitoring what's going on. She is alert, conscious, and they're continuing to watch her recovery. I did reach out to the landlord-tenant office, a lawyer who represents that private entity, but I have not heard back. I also reached out to the apartment complex here. They say they cannot comment on the shooting.
Y'all, I mean, there's a lot. There's quite a bit to unpack there. And it's wild to me. Oh, first of all, I know state to state shit is different, right? And it's always some extra different shit in the Commonwealth. So what's going on, Commonwealths? What's up, Pennsylvania? What's up, Kentucky? What's up, Massachusetts? What's up, Virginia? Y'all always got some wayward shit going on in the fucking Commonwealths. How in the fuck are these writ officers private entities as part of the landlord tenant court, but they're allowed to go around serving people eviction notices whilst armed? But they themselves are not law enforcement. Instead, they get some sort of certification. The fuck? What are you even saying? Like, how does this make any goddamn sense? Hold on, let me go to the chat to see if Infinite Content got to in Infinite Content and any other Philadelphia people can in Pennsylvania people can maybe shed some light on this shit because what? Excuse me? But okay, but I'm looking for answers in the chat if you guys have any insight. But just examining the facts as presented in that package. First of all, you saw the Philly police trying to go full propaganda, full criminalization of the shooting victim. Oh, well, allegedly there was a knife involved. It says who? What? What? What do you mean allegedly? That is very irresponsible for the police to even make such a statement without doing a complete investigation. The responsible thing to say was that there was some sort of altercation, because apparently, yes, there was some sort of altercation. And I can't see in what world does this writ officer have permission to enter the private dwelling of these tenants. You can serve eviction papers, man. you can slide the bitches under the door. I mean, there's a myriad of ways to serve eviction papers that do not involve making entrance into the residence, right? And the fact that this man, this writ officer, according to what the husband said, and I believe the husband, by the way, that man came across as extremely credible, in my opinion. I recognize my people. I'm not saying I'm some sort of human lie detector and I can recognize when people are lying, but I feel as though I can tell when people are telling the truth in their method of delivery and the way that they recount the facts of the incident as they remember. That gentleman came across to me as extremely credible, and I found him to be truthful. But as he said, they were trying to push him out of the door. Why was this man aggressively trying to make entrance into their house? And I believe the husband when he said he was just trying to return the man's items to him. I don't know if there were children in the house. I don't know what the situation was. But I can't see any justifiable, rational, reasonable excuse or explanation or how this writ officer can claim that they were in fear of their life for a gun to come out and him to shoot at this woman. It is a miracle that she is alive. It's a miracle that she has survived a gunshot wound to the head. And for her to be apparently in as good a shape as she is, considering her injury, alert, up talking, it's a miracle. Miraculous. But I'm not clear on the likelihood of whether or not this writ officer will be charged. Because now I'm unclear as to the level of actual law enforcement powers that they have. So if they're cleared to carry guns in the course of doing their job, but they themselves are not police officers, they are in fact contracted private workers. And for the police spokesperson to not know what the policies are, you don't know what the policies are of armed agents, basically, of the state, contractors, subcontractors of the state. You don't know what the policies are for these people walking around with guns, confronting residents who are in a vulnerable situation. You don't know what the policies are for them, for their use of force, for their ability or inability or whatever kinds of weaponry they carry. You don't know that. Philadelphia police spokesperson, why the fuck don't you know that? It seems to me it's kind of your job to know that. I hope the folks in Philly stay on top of this and make sure that charges are absolutely brought, because that is an unreasonable escalation in force. And again, force that I'm not even clear that this person, this writ officer, legally has the right to use. But I just can't stand it. Like, I hope that this story continues to make waves, or I hope it makes waves, period. Because you know what, y'all? When agents of the state and even people who are deputized or agents adjacent of the state, when they shoot us and injure us, it's very minor news. Like it makes very, very small waves. Like, I've still yet to see any follow-up surrounding the man in DC that we covered here on this program, Stephen Shaw, the man who was shot in the stomach by Metropolitan Police. He was not the person that the police were looking for. And because he didn't want to subject himself to an unreasonable search because he knew he wasn't the fucking criminal, he got shot in the stomach. I ain't heard no follow up. I don't know what how this man is doing, what's going on. Because it's just accepted that we are the recipients, we are on the receiving end, we are the victims of state violence, and it's normalized. That's why them crackers are so mad about Trump. They so mad about Trump. What you mean? What you mean Trump is indicted? No. That's niggas. That's for niggas. Don't you know? That's for niggas and the Latinos and the nigga Latinos. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. I cracked myself up for all the wrong things, for all the most inappropriate things. My deepest apologies to everybody. But you understand what I'm saying. And of course, for me personally, you guys know how personally attacked and aggrieved I feel when Black women are attacked. And I mean, there is no consideration for us as women, right? Like we're not viewed. So, and it wouldn't even shock me, by the way, if this writ officer who did the shooting of this Black woman was probably Black themselves. Wouldn't shock me. Would not shock me at all, because we've been very much conditioned and socialized to not even see the humanity within each other, within our own Black brother and sister. It's not uniform, but it's prevalent enough that it doesn't shock me if it were the case. I mean, we saw exactly what happened in Memphis with Tyree Nichols, and what happened down there in Central Virginia with the young man, Mr. Otieno, who was jumped on and smothered to death by a multiracial coalition of alleged second degree murderers. So keep an eye on this story. Infinite Content, thank you so much, Freddie French, for sending it. It's important that we amplify these stories because the violence against Black women, the misogynoir, is so casual, so normalized. Oh, she was probably being mouthy. Oh, she had a knife. I don't know what the fuck was going on. But all I know is that from the actions described, it sounded as though that writ officer was aggressive, overstepping their bounds, and out of control and doing the most. And I support the couple who stood their ground and would not allow a person to just barge into their home without knowing what their full intentions were, when they could have just left the motherfucking papers right there at the door. Nigga, you ain't got to come in here. You ain't got to come in here. Anyway, let me take a quick break. Peace. What's up, Warren? Thank you so much. What's up? What's up, Schultzy? You know, I always be glad to see my OGs. What's going on, Schultzy? How's everything out there on the West Coast? West Side? Love to see you in here. Infinite Content. Yeah, look into that, bro. It kind of got me wondering what in the hell, landlord tenant court? They have a private entity serving eviction papers, and these niggas got fucking pistols on their hip. What? And they not police? Huh? What are these niggas? Pinkertons? Fucking Infinite Content. What are they? What kind of entity is this? Don't make no goddamn sense. But yeah. So anyway, don't forget tonight, guys, 15, 20-ish minutes. I got damn toothpaste on my phone. Ain't that a bitch? 20-ish, 20-ish minutes, 15, 20-ish minutes after we wrap up the broadcast, we will be going to the AMA. You could find the link, I guess, I hope, in the community section, the members only section, and or on a Patreon. And I see Infinite Content has already run us some questions. We like to get the questions the pre-show questions going to get us kind of warmed up, and then we go to the live show questions. What's up, Damien? Hey, Stoner Loner. Glad to see you in here. Shout out to my mods. Big up to Courtney and Latif. I haven't seen them yet, but we give Courtney and Latif love anyway. And Chuck Diesel. We're always sending our mods love because our mods do amazing things. What's up, Nawadi? Glad to see you in here, baby. Hey, Wendy. My last story that I want to get to, some may not view it as quote unquote good news. I disagree because I think that this story indicates that the message potentially could be getting out about cops ain't shit. And why would you want to be part of an organization that is demonstrably ain't shit? Well, actually, this applies for both police and the military. If you could pop up that story, Will. I actually meant to add more to this section, but I've seen a lot of reporting about this lately. And again, I in listening to Kalechi Okafor's show, Kalechi says, focus about how things make you feel, how you actually feel it in your body, not how you perceive it cerebrally, not when you're thinking through the thing. More specifically, Kalechi says, if something tickles your pussy, it's I think a direct quote. If it tingles your clitoris, it's probably good. And this is not necessarily even sexual, because sometimes you can feel an intuitive sensation in your vagina that's not necessarily sexual. Gentlemen, I know I'm hipping y'all to some shit y'all never heard of, but that's it's the truth though. When I thought about it, I said, I think she's right. I think she's correct. And let me say this, I got such a sensation when I saw this story. Let's pick up from the Washington Post. The Pentagon is pressed on worsening recruiting shortfalls. Oh, I'm sorry, what? Oh, the U.S. military is having a hard time getting bodies in. My vagina moistens. Go on. The problem is particularly acute within the Army, with the lofty goal of 500,000 active duty soldiers just a few years ago, which they have not been able to do. And this story goes on to say that fewer people are joining the ranks of the armed services for a variety of reasons, including what the Army says. For one, they said that they don't have a good, healthy pool of recruits, that people who fall within the age, I guess, what is it, 18 to 35, the prime age that they'll let you join for active duty or whatever. They said Bama's is out of shape, niggas is stupid. It's a very poor crop of potential recruits that America has to offer out here, and it is affecting the ranks of the Pentagon. It says lawmakers urged the Pentagon on Wednesday to get aggressive and creative in confronting what they warned were dangerous shortfalls in the military recruiting, agreeing broadly that the issue threatens national security, even as Republicans and Democrats argue over who's to blame for the deepening crisis. Now, this is also pretty funny because the Biden administration, I believe, set a record in their last budget with military spending. What was it, y'all? Was it 780 billion? Quintillion, million, quadrillion dollars that the Biden administration authorized for the Pentagon. And they cannot fill the ranks of the folks. It says the Pentagon has attributed these difficulties to a variety of factors, including the nation's low unemployment rate, school closings during the coronavirus pandemic that limited recruiters' access to high school students and faculty, and a shifting culture in which more teens gravitate to jobs within with work life balance, which we know that the military does not really provide. And the military needs to do a little bit more introspection here, a little bit more soul searching, because it has been many generations of Americans that have witnessed the absolute despicable way. I mean, you feel what you want to feel about the military, and everybody's entitled, and that's fine. At the same time, you would think that those who volunteered to sacrifice life and limb for the empire would at least take care of them. And no, and no, to get the onward. Well, was shit with black soldiers ain't never been took care of. Civil War, black regiments, World War I, World War II, black soldiers excluded out of the GI Bill. I've seen some recent reporting that indicate that the Veterans Administration, in fact, denies black veterans disability claims at a significantly higher rate than it does white veterans. So, and even for the white veterans, the Vietnam veterans didn't get took care of. Agent Orange, Iraq, the burn pits in Afghanistan. I mean, it's just who the fuck wants to do this shit? If you paying attention, Camp Lejeune with the water being poisoned for 55 million years. I mean, anybody paying attention with any sort of simple common sense would know that the military is not for them. And finally, the Pentagon is beginning to feel the effects of this. Now, to the extent that it's affecting national security, I don't really fucking care, because that's likely some goddamn hyperbole, some militaristic propaganda to scare people, to think, oh, we don't have enough people, we need more people to sign up and be courageous and defend liberty. Well, people, I believe, not only themselves have realized, but educated their children, there would be potential recruiting class, the recruiting pool for the military, are instructing their teenagers, listen, I don't want you to go 10,000 miles around the globe to quote unquote fight for democracy, to fight for our liberty. It doesn't make any sense, because not such a thing has existed. And I think especially with a lot of folks, I'm going to say Gen X, older millennials, those who have young adults, young teens in their midst, they are getting quite an education that I think that Gen X itself, we did not get such an enlightenment about the perils of joining the military, and why it's despite being a reliable career track, it's deeply unprincipled, and at the end of the day, it's extremely evil. And you don't even get quality health care, mental health care for all the atrocities that the soldiers commit. They don't get no assistance with that. And that's why PTSD and, in fact, veteran suicide are at epic levels. Who the fuck would sign up and volunteer to be shit on once you come home by your employer? Get the fuck out of here. So people are wising up, and there's been a number of other stories, and I know you guys have likely seen this where you are, because this appears to be a national crisis, that law enforcement agencies are really having a hard time recruiting. And now, again, some of that, again, sounds like propaganda to me. I don't know what a healthy police force size looks like in the thousands or whatever, depending on the size of the city or whatever. All the police is too much police as it is, but they seem to claim that they can't get people to stay. They're having a hard time with the retirement wave, officers retiring, and the number of recruits in the academy are not making up for the attrition, right? And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing for us. That, I mean, to me, that is good news. To me, that means that our propaganda has been working. It's been a long slog. Likely, it's been decades in the making of people discouraging folks generally, but I want to say especially discouraging young black children from becoming police officers and or joining the military. I've told y'all, I went on an offensive when my brother was joining the Marines, and he ended up joining anyway. But it wasn't for lack of trying that I was actively trying to dissuade him of that. And I would imagine that lots of other people have tried to dissuade young people in their life from joining the military, and those chats have worked. The kids have made a different decision. They understand that being a cog and or a soldier for the empire, it's not a recipe for a good soul. I don't know how else to say it. And it's not to say that everyone who joins the military is a bad person, no, but you will potentially be called on to do evil things on at the behest of imperialism. And whether or not you are a good person outside of being a soldier or whatever, at the end of the day, reckoning day, that shit don't matter. The Nazi niggas from Nuremberg, them niggas was still Nazis and doing horrific, atrocious genocide to the Jewish people. You acting at the behest of orders or not. You as a human have free will. You have the right to say no. And once you're in the military, you lose that right. Once you're a police officer, you lose that right. You have to adhere to the protocols, the cruelty, the intentional inhumanity, the way that the American law enforcement system treats its enemies, domestic and abroad, right? So I wanted to take that. I wanted to take that small little nougat, and I'm taking it as good news. I hope it's not propaganda. I mean, I'm sure it is. It's some form of propaganda, but I hope the concern expressed by Pentagon and the lawmakers and law enforcement officials across the country about them genuinely being concerned about this shortage of bodies of willing participants to be agents of the state, to be soldiers, the foot soldiers of the empire. I'm glad that more people are saying no. The problem is we got to claw back some of that money. We got to claw back some of that money because them people are getting ridiculous bonuses to join the military and to join the police forces. And if that money's not being spent, well, then it could be reappropriated, reappropriated and be much better spent in different directions that do not include aiming guns at people. So there's that. Thank you so much, Latif. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Did you just gift some more people? You gifted more people with memberships, channel memberships. That's brilliant. Thank you, Latif. That is so kind of you to do that for the folks. I thank you. That's very nice. That's very nice. Thank you, Latif. He's one of our Fire Fam All Stars. Guys, that is my show. I'm so glad that you guys were here tonight. It's 8:10. Yeah, let's do this. Let's say 8:30. Let's come back at 8:30 and we'll get the AMA rolling. Latif has just gifted 5 people with some membership. So you brand new members, you guys can come hang out. Look on the membership tab for the link. Sorry, I didn't mean to burp in y'all's ear. My bad. I have a bad habit of doing that. And my deepest apologies. Again, the older I get, increasingly, the less ladylike I become. And that's like, fuck them. I mean, not y'all specifically. Anyway. Let me shut up. But not fuck y'all per se, but fuck whoever has a problem with me burping. Shit happens. Anyway, so let's reconvene here in 20 minutes, gang. I want to thank you all for continuing to support the channel. It is growing slowly but surely, but the support that we continue to get week in and week. Oh, real quick, let me update you guys. Okay, we didn't do a show. What day was that, Will? Last Friday. Bagheera's fine. We had a big change, a big temperature swing between last Thursday and last Friday. It was like 84, I think, on Thursday, and then Friday it fell down into the 50s. So Bagheera is a bit anemic. So big swings, especially from warm to cold, affect her. So I was able to get her a vet appointment like at 5-6 o'clock in the evening. It just really would have cut it close because I love our vet, but they're a little slow. they take their time. So yes, we were at the vet for well over an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So I would have been coming to the show extremely late. So thanks to everybody that made inquiries about what the emergency was. The emergency was Bagheera. the emergency usually is Bagheera, but Bagheera is doing well. She's fine now. So thank you everybody that showed love, wondering about my baby girl. So all right, 8:30. I'm out. I appreciate you guys. All even though all the COVID centers are shutting down, please be mindful that the aerosol global pandemic is still out there. It's still jumping on people. Now, imagine it's still killing people, but ain't no news about that. So just be careful generally. On behalf of Will and Molly, thank you all so much for being with us tonight. See y'all at the AMA in 20 minutes. The rest of y'all see y'all on Tuesday. See you later. Bye bye.